Khan. She is with us on the phone, freelance journalist in the United States. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us again.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, Anita, let's try to talk what Islam is. You know, everybody's talking about Islamophobia. Everybody's talking about the comments of Donald Trump. I asked you last time, is there Islamophobia in the United States? And unfortunately, the answer is yes, because of terror attacks, because of 100,000 reasons. But we are seeing that there's someone that's just getting into this vacuum and just making this monster even bigger.
Absolutely. And, you know, while terrorism is an absolute reality, and so is gun violence, both of those things are reality. The problem is that you have individuals like Donald Trump who use these fear tactics to drum up support from their base, to raise money, to get higher in the polls, and for whatever his political purposes may be, for his own self-aggrandizement. But in the process, you're completely, you know, creating an environment that's just toxic. And what's really, really sad is the fact that so many of his supporters actually believe this. You know, one of the major networks here interviewed, they did men on the street interviews at his event last night, asking whether or not they agreed with the fact that he said Muslims should be banned, and a large percentage of them said that they do. And then when you have that sort of mentality that's seeping into people's minds, it plays out in very, very real ways, whether it's overt acts of attacks on Muslims or more subliminal ways of either discriminating against them or even, you know, other avenues that can still have deadly consequences. I actually wrote a very personal piece last week in the Huffington Post about how my own father, about a decade ago, he was hit by a car and had a horrible accident as he was walking as a pedestrian, and just the anti-Muslim environment led to shoddy police work, discrimination, and a whole bunch of other things that eventually led to his death. You know, so it has very, very real consequences when you spew this sort of hatred and anti-Muslim rhetoric.
You know, Nida, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Muslim community in the United States, maybe it's not even defining itself as a Muslim community. They, first and foremost, they're defining themselves as Americans, like any other citizen of the United States. They see themselves as Americans, then they see the rest. Is it changing in the last few months or in the last few years that people are defining themselves, first of all, maybe as their religion and then as part of a country?
I don't think so, and I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. I think one can absolutely be a Muslim American, but, you know, and those things are actually go together. That's how I define myself too. I'm a Muslim American. I'm a Pakistani American. It's not that those two things are opposed to one another. And at the end of the day, Muslims are in all facets of society. You know, the president, even in his Oval Office address the other day, made that point, which is great. But what I would even challenge our president to do, especially in this sort of climate right now, is to actually maybe go and visit a mosque to really stand with the Muslim community to say that, no, we're not, you know, denouncing all of you. We stand with you. We know that you work with us to root out terrorism, because even President Bush visited a mosque post 9/11, and this president has yet to do so. And I think that would really speak volumes to Trump and other people who are putting out this sort of rhetoric and you know, anti-Muslim sentiment.
Yes, Nida Khan, thank you very much for this conversation.